Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life, you know. Yeah, with the Edna Manley College, yeah. Kingston, Jamaica, bright, sunny, beautiful afternoon, evening, yeah. The cosmos is so awesome. From the other day, I feel so good in just the presence, you know. And I give thanks that in this living cosmos, I begin to feel the energy, right, from others. I mean, partly from you, partly from my friends around. And also, I must say, in my family environment, my personal family, right now it's not necessarily the best experiences because we've been having a few conflicts as my spirituality grows. But we go through conflicts from time to time though. So now, a lot of what I've been asking of others to ask of themselves, I'm not asking of myself now, towards greater forgiveness and love and understanding through work, right? So this particular little offering is on guilt. Now, a word carry a vibration, and as the guilt you cannot see the yeah. Words carry a vibration. Guilt carry a vibration of almost like pushing your head down at the meaning. You know, putting your head down, looking into the side, no confidence, can't go eye to eye, can't go heart to heart. So somewhat hidden. So guilt rides the soul. Guilt makes individuals shrink into the smallest possible crevice or crack in the wall, in the landscape, in the room. It makes you want to shriek and scream in wild environments of nowhere clear present or nowhere known. Guilt makes you wear dark clothing, makes you wear dark coverings, make you hide, makes you quiver, makes you don't stand in presence and stand up for yourself. In the presence of challenge, in the presence of your enemy. It don't make you put your head high. Guilt holds you down. Now the first premise of how is it that you are guilty? Did you sin the world? Maybe you did not sin the world. Maybe all you did was harm your own self. Maybe you, through the harm of yourself, created a domino effect and then harmed somebody else because of the harm you had in yourself. So now because of that, harm now becoming perpetuated, and now this kind of a continuum of hurtful experiences begin to now become reality. What then leaves, what is then left now in the mentals when remorse begins to kind of kick in, is this big feeling of guilty. Even in Christendom, there's talk of a lot of Christians, after you take it to God and you take it to the Most High, you take it in your secret place and you clearly express where you're coming from. You clearly show to the divine what your experiences have been, what has led you. That a lot of Christians, a lot of people who go towards this place of absolution still feel guilty. They still cannot let go of the hurt or of the hurtful memories, or sometimes worse, of the very feeling of an hurtful experience. They literally relive it all the time. So guilt rides a lot of people's consciousness, rides their conscience so bad that a lot of people don't know that you don't have to hold yourself to this experience 10 years ago. You don't have to hold yourself to a most terrible moment in your life, yeah? You get a little extra. You may talk to. You the liquor, don't you liquor? Yeah man, you liquor man. I know you liquor. And you felt that in that moment everything was at an end. She might have felt that everything was at an end also. But if you can amass enough self-power to let not that experience become a perpetuation, then the moment itself and the causes of it can be addressed and it can slide away into the forgetful. And from that experience can grow something more meaningful. But when guilt kicks in and you cannot face your true experiences, that is kind of putting you out of sync with your best harmony or your best feeling of yourself, You can't really face it. And you're hiding from it, you're cowering. It self-perpetuates to create more of the guilt and more of the guilty actions. You start becoming a battering ram. You begin to batter, a battering man. You understand? And these things continue. And then this entrenched feeling of guilt now begins to ride you because number one, you have your kid, right? You have your son, you have your daughter. You might have several sons and daughters. Within this relationship, within this very same relationship, that you might now be beating the woman and battering her, and it becomes a means for you now to communicate instead of actually talking on the issues, right? And then becomes justification and then a lot of issues, right? And then there are women that ride these guilt complexes, yeah? There are women who ride these guilt complexes. They hold the man to those experiences, even if they can see that there has been growth. Some women ride the guilt complex because it gives them a sense of empowerment, because now you did take your hands to her, right? You did kind of put her in the corner and give her a few good jolts, right? So now she has a premise now in the guilt complex now to ride your psyche. Now how she feels in that moment becomes encapsulate of every moment. And then there's this frustration, this agitation, and sometimes it leads to a wrestling and a pushing back. Because you're pushing back against that, right? And she's pushing against it, and the guilt complex continues. Remorse shouldn't take the form that you're whimpering, you're quivering. Remorse should take the form that you are being restored to the actual self that is separate from the whole nature of the event, which the event doesn't become owned by the individual or honed by the individual. It becomes an abstraction. It becomes an emergency that has passed and gone. It becomes the past. And now you can breathe. You can breathe clearly. You can see the restoration of the actual self. And now you can then begin to have a restorative action towards disparity. Not just to apologize, but to correct actions. Repent, as the word is. To actually correct actions now so that the guilt-ridden conscience is now cleared, because genuine remorse has come. You don't realize that I was out of line. Maybe she was out of line, she was expressing on her behavior, but I went out of line in my physicality. And this goes for your kids, this goes for another human being. And now how you address the restoration through your remorseful nature now. No whimpering, no quivering. Being straight up about it. Admit you do wrong and you want to correct it. By your behaviors, correct it. By the mental patterns, address it. Bring it forward. Heal some broken fences. Mend some disparaging mental patterns. Bring them into harmony. You deal with the people that when you know if you're a fact say. You do them some things and you feel so bad about it. But let's be very honest, that's probably about 5 years ago. Not about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, no. I think it's about 10 years ago. It's about 15 years ago. But you've become so caught up by it, you can't even let it go. And you can't even be clear. So you stay clear of that block, that road, that avenue, that country, those people, those folks, those who remind you of them. So basically, you're basically putting yourself in a box, putting yourself in a prison, a guilt-ridden complex, a guilty prison. Forgive yourself. Release this guilty conscience. Address the disparity. See where you come out of line. See where you can go back in a line. And see and hold the line. Right? And if you can hold the line, just like us rising and falling, then there will be some kind of meaning. You can grasp from it. Maybe the meaning is, learn say, we have to grow along this path. So let no one hold you into the guilt complex. So don't be defined as a beater, a batterer, some violent psychopath. Don't be defined also, ladies, by being a victim. Oh, taking the victimized road. And then you send that frequency out, right? So don't use that as a means to then say, oh, look at me, to evoke a certain sense of sympathy, to attract a sympathetic. Because that's what it leads to, this kind of a negative endorphin kind of rush, right? Isn't it so? This negative kind of endorphin rush ensues now when people now begin to know they quiver and they quiver and they seek for you to say, oh, poor is you, oh dear heart, let me give you a hug. And this kind of almost like an addiction to this guilt complex, where all you really have to do is just speak it out loud, clear your tongue, clear your throat, clear your mind, clear your heart, clear your emotions, be free. And then in this clearance, guilt will just be what it is. A disappearing concept, a disappearing, distant troublemaker that you wish not to see again. Because now you want to have clear actions that are wholesome, that leave not this trail of guiltiness. So we don't want no guiltiness resting on our conscience, and then now you start acting away like you're choking up, like, oh my God. You see some of the people, you remember, you know, because, you know, I remember, you know, when I was a kid I used to shoplift, right? But I was so damn good at shoplifting, because I had this esoteric kind of extrasensory perceptiveness, right? So I could really tell how to get around and shoplift, because I remember I had this little future orientation, so I can usually see, right? So long and short of it, I never got caught physically shoplifting, but I got caught being a shoplifter. But they never caught me with the thing. I was like 12 years old. Thank God I got out of that. But what was so terrible about it was, the guy never caught me with it because I sensed it. And I got rid of it before it came to my persons, right? But what was so bad about it was, when he grabbed hold of me, immediately there was a very beautiful young lady that I knew, that knew me well. And he just appealed to her. And see, you know him? This little boy is a thief. You see that? I felt so guilty. For a good while I couldn't look at that little cute little thing in her eyes. I was so guilty. But then it forced my behavior to adjust and not do that no more. So I used my gift another way instead of trying to shoplift. Right? So the guilt complex in me cleared up when I fessed up to her. Yeah, I told her about it. Because first I denied it. I said, I'm lying, I never catch me with it. It's true. And you couldn't prosecute me, you can't really catch me with it. But to get that clearness out of my heart, I didn't tell her right away. I told her later. Like maybe, I don't remember if it's a week or two later, or maybe 3. But I told her later that I did. And that cleared my mind. And that stopped me from doing it, because I didn't like the feeling there. That sense of embarrassment. And it feeds into the guilt complex, right? So I am talking, remember I tell you these are from experiences I've had, right? So the guilt complex, oh my God, you gotta be remorseful, clear that negative air, be free in your thoughts to remember that these are events that have occurred. They don't define you. At least you shouldn't allow them to define you, right? So then remember, be guilt-free, no guilt trip, yeah? Be forgiving of yourself, remorseful of your actions, make absolution, restore your harmony. And that's the way. Yeah, that's the way right now to get past the guilt complex. Yeah, overcoming your lower self to finding your optimum self. This is Jerome Sage Butler, the Tree of Life, sharing some offerings, reminding you that your optimum and optimal gift in the presence of being. So continue to be this optimal gift that you are. Snap, snap, snap. You know what I say? Bless you. Take care of yourselves and your family, right? And the people that want to extend it a little bit more, get some more. You know, your loving, you know, you call that aura, right? Yeah, are in your loving force field, are in your loving zone, right? Get some more love, extend it a little bit more positive, more love. Bless you.